What will be India's playing 11 in the third test match in Sydney is a burning question again amongst cricket fans today. Will Rohit Sharma play? What number will he play at? Will Natarajan replace the injured Umesh Yadav? Find out on how the team management would be approaching these 2 or 3 dilemmas on Jatin's Scorecard. The third test match in Sydney is very, very important. The simple reason why is because the team which wins the third test match will not lose the series. So I think one of the major decisions which India have to make going into the third test match is what's the right 11 to go to, especially with Umesh Yadav now out injured. Let's not forget that the weather in Sydney is supposed to be cloudy with some scattered showers on day 1 and day 2, with the cloudy cover kind of remaining for day 2 and day 3. So these weather conditions will have a big kind of bearing to play on what 11 they will go in with. I feel that they will go in with the following team, which will be Shubman Gill to continue as opener, Rohit Sharma to partner with him, Pujara at 3, Rahane at 4, Vihari at 5, Rishabh Pant at 6, Jadeja at 7, and then Shardul Thakur at 8, Ashwin at 9, Bumrah at 10, and Siraj at 11. I think this is the team they will go in with, although my personal choice would have been slightly different. Sydney is the one wicket in Australia which will aid the spinners. I would have been very, very tempted to play Kuldeep Yadav instead of Shardul Thakur. On the face of it, it appears a little bit of a risky choice because you haven't ever gone into a test match in Australia with just 2 seamers. But I feel that Kuldeep Yadav, with the kind of talent that he has, and especially with the 4 top players from the Australian batting lineup, all extremely kind of restless kind of characters who are not content with playing 2 or 3 overs of defense. You look at Steve Smith, you look at Warner, you look at Labuschagne, you look at Cameron Green as well. They want to step out and take the initiative over from the spinners. It's not worked for them for the first 2 test matches because Ashwin has had them on a leash through his sheer brilliance. And I think that Kuldeep Yadav will trouble them more than somebody like a Shardul Thakur. So, a part of me feels that it is risky with going into a test match in Australia with just 2 seamers and 3 spin bowlers. But I would be tempted to do that. But having said that, as I said earlier, because of the cloud cover, I think the Indian team management will probably look at Shardul Thakur, and if Shardul plays, he will open the bowling. They'll give him all the room, all the opportunity to swing that new ball, and if India bowl first with the cloud cover, it could be a problem. Let's not forget that this venue has been a high scoring venue. So I think another crucial decision to make for the captains will be what to do after we win the toss. This wouldn't have been such a tough decision had it been a good sunny day. You win the toss, you bat first, but with the weather conditions expected to be what they are, it could probably be a good toss to lose. I'd like to focus on 3 more players who are going to have a big bearing on this match. Let's start off with the Indian vice captain, the Mumbai Indians captain supremo, Rohit Sharma. Now in Australia, done quarantine time, now ready to dive into the last 2 test matches, will be an amazing support for Ajinkya Rahane. I think Rohit will bat at the top of the order, but he will be a great support system for Ajinkya. He has a very, very naturally shrewd cricketing brain, and I'm looking forward to him settling down into the innings and getting into some kind of rhythm. Let's not forget he's been out of the game for a while, so he will come in a little bit undercooked, but I think that's where Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma as a partnership will work well. Let's not forget how Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit Sharma bat in one-day cricket or in T20 cricket. Shikhar Dhawan is the guy who gets a move on from the first over, and Rohit kind of settles down into his groove a little bit. I think you will see a similar chemistry at work with Shubman Gill and Rohit Sharma in Sydney as well, wherein Shubman Gill, exuberance of youth, natural stroke player will play the shots, and that will allow Rohit Sharma to settle down a bit. And I think if he settles down into a groove. I think a big knock in Sydney is not far. The other player I'd like to talk about is Steve Smith. Steve Smith, who normally has a very, very clear head while batting, which is the most important aspect for a batsman, a clear head. In Hindi they say aage ka ball aage, piche ka ball piche. That should be the mentality. But this series has seen Steve Smith look insecure, looking even edgier than what he normally does, and somewhere seeming to lack that clarity of thinking. I think Ashwin's really got the wool on him. But great players show their greatness, in such circumstances. So it's going to be a tough fight for Steve Smith. But I would not put it past him to score some big runs in this test match. The last guy I'd like to speak about is David Warner. I've mentioned a couple of times earlier that it's not only Warner the batsman which Australia is missing. It is Warner the positivity factor, Warner that bazooka at the top of the innings, coming and setting a certain tempo. The Aussies like to play to a certain tempo, a certain urgency, and David Warner brings that to the party every single time. They are missing that at the top of the order. So David Warner will come in. Indications are that he's not fully fit. The groin is an area where you need a little more time to recover. I'm sure the physios are working hard with him, but I think he will leave that decision of whether he can play or no right up to the morning of the test match. If he wakes up and feels he's okay, he will take a chance. If he wakes up and feels stiffness or soreness, he might well wait for another test match as well. So thanks for your thoughts. You guys are sending me lots and lots of questions on Twitter. Please keep that going with the Ask Jatin hashtag, or drop me a comment in the section below, and I'll be back with you on 7th evening, on the evening of the first day, to share what happened on what promises to be a super exciting and a super important test match for both the teams. Thanks a lot.